We're being joined now by Mr. Ibikunle Onosanya, the Chief Executive Officer, Agribusiness Services. Thank you very much, Mr. Onosanya, for joining us on the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, as an agriculturist, what are you making of this present situation of blockade, of food blockade in the north?
Well, thank you very much. The food blockade that we are beginning to witness from the northern part of the country, of course, is an effect, as a result of all that we have been talking about, the insurgencies that we have had, the clashes between Fulani herdsmen and crop farmers in different parts of the country, particularly, and in this case, in the southwestern part of this country. And it portends a very, very gory situation. It's an unhealthy development, and that's because we have not done.
All right. Looks like we lost Mr. Ibikunle there.
Well, it's one of those things. But let's just quickly look at what's happening in the global oil market, where prices were down early today, extending several days of losses and amid uncertainty over how much supply producing countries will push to restore to the market at a meeting this week by the coronavirus pandemic, as the coronavirus pandemic persists. All right, let's get back to Mr. Onosanya. Yes, Mr. Onosanya, you were talking about this food blockade in the north.
Yes. So I was saying it's a very unfortunate development, and it's definitely it's not what we need in this country at this time. Food security is very, very essential, very important for any sovereign nation. And of course, you know, food security exists when all peoples at all times have access, that physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food for their dietary needs and their personal preferences for a healthy and active life. Also, the United Nations took a decision long ago, in 1996 precisely, that food will not and should not be an instrument of bringing economic or political pressure to bear on the people. I mean, in the Sustainable Development Goals, goal number 2, which is to end hunger and prevent a situation where people do not have access to food. Now, if the situation in this country is beginning to gravitate towards a situation where food now gets all the supply of it or the lack of that gets weaponized as an instrument, to be used to bring pressure to bear, that is a very, very sorry and unfortunate situation.
All right, Mr. Onosanya, how do you think this problem can be solved right now?
Well, I think the immediate solution, and I think which I read in the social media, in the print media, is that the government, the security forces have intervened, and they have gone to Niger State, particularly to the Jeba area, where this blockade was supposed to be happening, and they have tried to take charge and take control of the situation and disbanded it. So the first thing that government should do is to stop that. I mean, it shouldn't be happening, and people should not take the law into their hands and begin to do whatever they like. But unfortunately, I would say This is a situation that had been building up and which we could have avoided. So government should intervene, law enforcement should ensure that that does not happen. And I think that would be the first thing. And secondly, there's need to go back to address this issue of the herder, crop farmer crisis, the conflicts. You know, a lot of people are afraid, you know, to go to their farms. I farm, for example, and since all this insurgency started, and I farm, you know, majorly in the Southwest, I have become hesitant to go to supervise my workers, to go to the farm alone. I've become very, very worried of doing that because of, fear of the unexpected. If you get what I mean. And this was not the case. This was not the case about 2 years ago, but it shows that this challenge, this problem of herders and banditry and kidnapping and all kinds of conflicts and insurgencies is getting to a head, and government needs to address this problem head on. We need to have productive public conversations about how to live and coexist in this country. We cannot avoid that, you know. And this was what Professor Paditone was saying, watching him on channel, saying the other day. This is very important. We shouldn't just, be, abusing ourselves or talking tough and stuff. We all should sit down and find a workable solution to the sustained existence of this country.
All right, just a quick one before we let you go there. Do you think, do you see any implication of this for the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement which we signed in for?
I do. This has serious implications. I mean, if we're beginning to witness this kind of blockade, internally within the country, that Nigeria is the biggest, the largest market in the African, region. And, so by the time we begin to witness food blockades, this will affect, international trade. It's going to affect, the free flow of people, and goods, and services, and is going to further aggravate the challenge that we have. Can you imagine that Nigeria is being ranked along with countries like South Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen, in the area, in the aspect that about 20 million people, out of close to 700 million who are living in starvation. We are being ranked as nations that are at risk of famine as a result of all the crises that we are going through. So we urgently and hurriedly need to do something about this, so that everything does not go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibikunle Onosaya, Chief Executive Officer, Agribusiness Services. Thank you very much for your time on the show. We do appreciate it. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, AFEX Commodities Market Update is next.